Hello, welcome to today's English news program on Azərbaycan Televiziya with the most important events of the day. In November, Baku's Olympic Stadium will host the COP29 session, drawing global attention once again. Azerbaijan, as the host of the conference, is committed to approaching the negotiation process with transparency, inclusiveness and neutrality. The first press conference of the COP29 presidency, held on April 15, discussed the ongoing work to document the final decisions and initiatives that Azerbaijan will present.
Global climate change. This is perhaps the most burning problem of the modern time. Its consequences already pose threat to the lives of people in many corners of the world. The entire world will come together to fight this global climate problem. Azerbaijan, which will be hosting COP29, commenced preparations a long time ago. Of course, a lot more needs to be done, and the responsibility is huge.
Azərbaycanın burada rolunu biz
We see the role of Azerbaijan as a bridge. I think this role of Azerbaijan as a bridge between developing and developed countries creates good opportunities. As part of the mandate to host the conference, Azerbaijan is approaching negotiations with all the participating parties through the prism of transparency, inclusivity, and neutrality. The main themes of the negotiations on COP29, including climate financing, are comprehensively discussed with all the parties, and active work is underway for successful completion of negotiations. The work in two main directions is ongoing. The first direction is documentation of final decisions which may be adopted. The second is initiatives which will be put forward by Azerbaijan as chair of COP29. It was noted that this event will serve as a big platform for discussions and actions to expedite the transition to green energy. November will be the climax point of this process, which already started. Azerbaijan started to take part in these negotiations, discussions on global climate. In summer months, this will take qualitatively new character. The climax point of all of this will be the upcoming conference from the 11th to 22nd of November. In terms of the participants and its scale, COP29 will be the biggest event which will be held in Azerbaijan. The venue of the event will be Baku Olympic Stadium. As to the hotels which will be receiving the guests, all the accommodation plans will soon be available from the unified international platform.
Once again, the lies of Armenia have been exposed, this time in the International Court of Justice in The Hague. The judges were presented with convincing evidence that refuted the absurd claims made by Armenia against our country.
Armenia's accusations are baseless and irrational. It is alleged that Azerbaijan committed crimes and massacres against Armenians living on its territory for decades. Furthermore, there are allegations that Armenian prisoners were tortured following the 44-day war. The Azerbaijani delegation responded to these accusations with credible evidence, stating that war crimes were committed not by Azerbaijan but by Armenia. Armenia has been pursuing an aggressive policy for more than 30 years. Since the end of the conflict, this country has been making absurd accusations instead of responding adequately to Azerbaijan's calls for peace. The International Court of Justice should reject Armenia's appeal for the application of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. According to Article 22 of the International Convention of 1965, a dispute can only be brought to court if it's not settled through negotiations. As Armenia has not fulfilled the preconditions for such treatment, the appeal should be rejected. This was our first protest. The second protest was against the accusation that Azerbaijan violated international humanitarian and human rights law after the Second Karabakh War and submitted a complaint under the same convention. This accusation falls outside the jurisdiction of the court under the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. Furthermore, any Armenian accusations against Azerbaijan regarding alleged breaches of international humanitarian law and other international human rights laws are not within the jurisdiction of this convention. Therefore, the claim must be dismissed on its merits. At the next hearing, the Armenian delegation will present its position on the Azerbaijani protest. In the second round, the Azerbaijani side will again respond to the so-called allegations.
ANAMA released its weekly update on operations conducted in the territories liberated from occupation. The report states that 1 anti-personnel and 5 anti-tank mines were found, along with 725 unexploded ordnances. Additionally, 476.7 hectares of territory have been cleared. You can get in touch with us via our WhatsApp and Telegram accounts at 051-511-1956, through which you can report events you encounter as well as share your suggestions and comments. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.